Well, just a moment ago, we were listening to Floyd Chivambo of EFF, just giving reasons as to why they've postponed the election of a new executive mayor for Johannesburg. Let's listen in to other political parties.
To request it from. So we think that and believe that the DA has taken a stance that is very illegal. They actually ran away from allowing this meeting to proceed because the same majority that elected them in 2016 is the same rule book that we're still using today. Why is it so different today that it requires a different legal opinion? So when they were elected at City Hall, we used the same simple majority of 136, which this meeting had a quorum of at least 269 councillors that were here. So why do you choose to go? Are you choosing it because you were given instruction by another party to postpone the meeting because they still wanted to bargain and make some decisions with the DA? So we do not know, but as the ANC, we are clear that the DA was running away because they know that the ANC and its partners today were going to emerge victorious. And by the way, we're still a liberation party that continues to contest political power. So do not try and write us off, because we've got the capacity to transform this country and make an impact to provide services to our people. We have done so. The chamber that we are in it now, it's as a result of the work that was done by the liberation movement called the African National Congress.
Any other questions?
When are you getting that legal opinion?
We are doing it now. We've already spoken with the head office, and head office is processing those issues.
So you may have court challenge by the end of business today?
Exactly.
Look, we are doing the court action precisely for purposes of justice. The speaker here in this council is a mediocre speaker. It's just a pure mediocrity, because when you give out a notice of a council meeting, as a speaker in terms of section 27, as the presiding and the chairperson of council, it's incumbent upon you to consult the legal services of the council, where possible to source an opinion that will table into council as part of precautionary measures. But to come right into council and say that we would want to get a legal opinion, this is pure criminality. The DA is just postponing their pain. They are just postponing what is a reality that is coming to them. And this is just a breach of the law, because today council corrected. There's no way that 269 councillors out of 270, it's 40%. What was interpreted here before, it's a pure fabrication and frivolous story by the opposition parties. They've connived, they've colluded to run away with this council meeting as part of postponing the pay. But what is even worse is that they're not worried about service delivery. We do not have the executive in this municipality. There's no mayor, there's no deputy mayor, there's no mayoral committee. So it means there can't be transactions and services which are going to be provided to our people. The DA and its cahoots are just very bad for South Africa, because they are worried about power. They are not worried about our people. They are not worried about service delivery. Johannesburg as a metro is deteriorating, and it's going to further deteriorate whilst we wait for a formal and a substantive executive committee and a mayor in this particular municipality. And I think it's important, even in terms of the law. That's why we want to get this particular matter being interpreted by the courts, because in a constitutional democracy, a court is the final arbiter of any dispute in society. We are in dispute with them in terms of this interpretation. In 2016, a simple majority was used when they benefited. When they are about to lose, they are refusing. And this is just bad for democracy, because this is how civil war starts. It's irresponsible, reckless out of the opposition to do this thing, because it's clear where they are in charge, they don't want to lose, but they expect us as the ANC to accept every time, and we're going to be responsible. We're not going to do any funny things. We're going to go and approach the courts where possible, go to our masses to talk to them about this particular conduct of the opposition.
Okay.
The DA knows very well that when the ANC takes over, we're going to uproot all the corruption that they've been doing. They're trying by all means to make sure that they cling into power. And we are confident that when we take over next week, we are going to uproot corruption in the city of Johannesburg.
Okay, so thank you very much. Now, Vasco de Gama is the acting mayor, and then the MMC, the executive, what happens with them?
Exactly this issue, they are wrong. Speaker is head of the legislature. Therefore, he cannot interfere with the executive. Now, from a legal point of view, he has no right or powers to act as the mayor. In terms of the Systems Act, when there's no mayor in the executive, the city manager has to assume the position and act as the mayor as delegated by council. So they are continuing again to do wrong. Legality, when it's done by them, it looks nice because probably their color is blue. When it's done by yellow, it's a problem. So they're continuing to do so. So I think, thank you.
Yeah, but it's even worse. What we need to clarify is a separation of powers and segregation of duties. You can't have the speaker as the mayor or as an executive mayor. You can't have the speaker as the chief magistrate of Johannesburg. It's not possible. There's a separation between the legislature, the judiciary, as well as the executive in terms of our democracy. So what is being done here is just a mockery of our establishment. It's just a mockery of our democracy. And we still want to repeat it. It's very reckless and unfortunate from the side of the opposition.
So it means that Floyd smoked something very dangerous.
What does the ANC make of how this actually happened as well? I mean, there have been caucuses and discussions between the EFF and the ANC. As soon as it was settled that it wouldn't go a particular way, then this came into the room. Do you think there's anything there? Do you think the EFF was involved in any way? What is your view?
Look, obviously it's sour grapes. You know, sometimes
on the EFF's part?
Both from the opposition, both the EFF. Because look, it's even wrong for the speaker just to bring an impromptu decision to council without a motion being tabled and discussed by council. That's how a meeting is chaired. That is how procedure is followed in terms of the rules of order. You can't have a speaker imposing a decision on council. No, he tables a motion, council discusses, and upon that, where possible, there can be votes, or where possible, the debates can be assessed, and where possible, a proper decision needs to be made. But yeah, the speaker just came as a bully boy and a cowboy, imposed a decision that the meeting is postponed to the 4th. Nothing opportunity given to councillors to debate this particular matter. This speaker, this opposition is just a mediocre speaker. He's lazy, he did not do his work. Before he came to council, he just issued a notice without reading his agenda, without comparing it with the law. It's just a mediocre. We can't have such things in a democracy. It's very expensive for our people. We need to deliver services to the people of our country.
Listening to you now.
He's lazy.
Let's get it.
Could you please have my DA?
All right, that was the ANC, including Dakota Lekhwete, just giving their view on the postponement of the election of the new mayor. They're very angry about it. They say that the opposition parties are up to no good. We're going to cross now to my colleague, Offenso Stimo, who's going to give us an update on what's happening in Pretoria.
Thank you very much. We're coming to you from the Tshwane municipal offices, better known as Tshwane House, where Sanco has gathered in their numbers. They're actually here to submit a memorandum of grievances after the whole sex scandal, after the whole Tshwane water, the Herman Mashaba water issue. Basically, they're saying that the DA administration here in Tshwane for the past 3 years has actually failed to address some of the challenges that have been long-standing, that have been affecting the residents of Tshwane, among them being the sex scandal, the water crisis, and everything else. But joining me now is one of Sanco members, Mr. Mashish, who's actually going to elaborate a bit more on why they decided to assemble here outside the Tshwane House. Mtate Mashishi, thank you so much for your time. If you could just tell us the reason for your assembly here outside the Tshwane Council chambers today.
Thank you very much, and listeners and the viewers at home. Our reason to be here is one, on the basis that the DA municipality have been failing the people of Tshwane. So the challenges that we are having is because of service delivery.
Okay, I actually have to cut you short for now, but we will definitely come back to this one. Apparently they have to cross to something that's happening. Back to studio.
To fairness, we're going to cross to the DA, which is briefing outside the council.
Johannesburg, all of the services that you receive are being provided by an administration that is now led by the city manager. He is in charge, and he'll be in charge for the next few days. It's only a few days. So we are thinking that we're of the view that the Speaker has done the right thing, and we applaud him for doing so. Now, here's the thing. What did you witness today? You witnessed the unfolding of a political drama, if you like, which was a drama that we got to this point largely because political parties weren't talking to each other. Not for the want of trying from our side, I must tell you, but here's the thing. Whatever deal was being cooked up between the ANC and the EFF clearly has fallen apart. I can only presume that the EFF did not anticipate that what you would see happening here is exactly what happened. You had a thoroughly compromised candidate in the form of Jeffrey Makubo. Who is Jeffrey Makubo? He is somebody who pocketed 30 million rand through his company, through a deal with Regiment's Capital, which was contracted to the city of Johannesburg, in a time when his party was running the city. A cozy deal, I must tell you. But here's the thing. It didn't just happen when he was not a councillor. Yes, it started, but while he was the MMC for finance, i.e. the custodians of your money, what did he do? While he's trying to look after your money, he was actually overseeing a deal, advising Regiment's Capital on your money, which then became his money. Now, I'm sorry, that looks like corruption to me. Obviously, a court would be a better place to sort that one out. But do you really want that person to be the mayor of Johannesburg? I promise you, for the last 3 years, Johannesburgers have seen a turnaround. What we've seen is nothing short of astounding, where you've seen the former mayor take a city that had been thoroughly compromised by corruption, uncovered thousands of cases. We wish that we were in control of the NPA, because then we'd see prosecution of these cases. That's where the problem lies with those things. But what have you also seen? You've seen clinics extended hours. You've seen libraries extended hours. You've seen roads tarred. You've seen people employed. You've seen an improvement in the investment grading of the council. So all of these things have happened under 3 years of DA-led administration. I think the citizens of Johannesburg would want to have another 18 months or more under DA-led administration with a very capable mayor, my colleague Funzi Ngubeni. So that is what is possible. We'll see what happens in the next few days. But the long and the short of it is that the citizens of Johannesburg deserve good government. They do not deserve to be taken back to corruption. And we think that the political parties really need to work responsibly for the next couple of days and get to a situation where we can have the right outcome when the council reconvenes. Thank you very much.
We'll take a handful of questions. No questions.
Mr. Ngubeni,
yes.
Just to
clarify something. So,
Yeah.
Natasha?
like you said that the city manager is now the acting mayor. What happens to executive? Because
No. They're unemployed. I don't know how many unemployed we had. 10.2 million. We've now got 10.2 million and 10. So unfortunately, but no, I'm being facetious, Sam. But the long and the short of it, they're not MMCs at this point in time.
But then you say there's no collapse of services in the city.
No, because the city manager is more than capable of making the staff that actually do the work and do the function. Thank you.
So he's warming up the seat for Mr. Ngubeni.
Well, you said it, not me.
Essentially, gentlemen, what was the breakdown in relation when it comes to your cooperation with the EFF? If they are saying they're going to be voting out Stevens Mukhalapa and Tshwane.
Yeah.
Does this mean that your relation with the party has broken down and there were no prior discussions to this council meeting taking place here in Joburg?
Well, I'll answer the last question first. No, there were no prior discussions. It's as simple as that. We did, make the call. We did send messages asking, can we get together? It was met with total silence, which is very disappointing, but it is what it is. Whatever they want to do in Tshwane, well, I suppose they're going to do whatever they want to do in Tshwane, but we don't know. I would imagine that, if you have a leader that decides one thing one day and he just does something else the next day, anything could happen with the EFF. So I'm not losing sleep over Tshwane, I promise you. I would say that it's the only responsible thing that we should be doing as the party is to look to continue governing, because we've governed well and we need to govern well for the next 18 months. I do think that the situation here in Johannesburg can easily be resolved. There's a good dialogue. But the fact of the matter is that we never had a coalition with the EFF. It's been a voting arrangement. They will decide on a case-by-case basis whether they vote with us or not. So it's not something that has collapsed. It's something that was never there to begin with. So, we would hope that at some stage we can get them to continue to vote with us, but that's up to them. We are available to talk. Are they available to talk? Well, that's an open question.
Mike, I just wanted to ask, the EFF, the DA obviously are benefiting from this postponement. So it would be fair for anyone to assume that this was orchestrated by you as the DA, given that you did have the numbers.
Well, I don't know who would have benefited. I don't know which way the votes would have gone, quite frankly. I think that you will have found if you corner Mr. Shavamu somewhere in a bar and maybe ply him with a bit of whiskey, you might get out of him that they were prepared to do a deal with the ANC. I guess. I don't know. But once it became clear that Mr. Makubo was the candidate, that was a problem. A huge problem. And not just a problem for the EFF. It was a problem also for the ANC. What did you see happening here? You saw the Secretary General, another compromised individual. So I suppose it's fitting that a compromised individual wants to nominate a compromised individual. But here's the thing. He sat through the entire council meeting, making sure that his councillors did not break ranks. There was a genuine fear. Andrew Mlangeni, respected struggle hero, 94 years old. He was hardly well enough to come here today, but he obviously answered the call of his party. They bring him here to put moral suasion on their councillors so they don't break ranks. So it was clear that there wasn't going to be a division in the ANC. So I would ask you, in a closed ballot, would the ANC have got a majority? I don't think they could have been certain, I must tell you. Not with the candidate they put forward.
And then we close with CD.
Thank you so much. Mike, I'm just behind you with the cameras. Just two questions really around both the EFF and the IFP.
Yeah.
You and I spoke yesterday, and according to you, the IFP was still on board, but the one thing that seems very definite, even in seeing IFP leaders speaking to Ace Makashule, is that the IFP is actually switched. What do you do to mend that? What do you do to try and sweeten the deal you had with the IFP previously going forward? Because it's still going to matter when you come back to council. And also around the EFF, you said you tried reaching out to them.
Yeah.
What now? Do you see this as an opportunity to try again, go back to the table with the EFF?
Well, of course, it's an opportunity for the EFF and the DA to have a chat. So that is there. That's a simple answer. In terms of the IFP, we've had several discussions. There's been a very clear indication on the IFP that they're continuing with the arrangement that we have currently. So we would have been extremely surprised if suddenly they would have done something that was contrary to what they told us. I would take them at their word, quite frankly. But, our doors are always open. If there's a further conversation to be had with the IFP, I'm sure they will contact us and we will surely engage with them in discussion.
Thank you, ladies and gents. We'll see you on the 4th.
Thank you.
Mike, guys, can you just
Give me a hand.
All right, that was Dave Moriarty of the DA. He's the Gauteng chairperson, just giving the DA slant. We apologize for the slight confusion earlier, but as soon as we were aware that the DA was speaking in the interest and the spirit of fairness, we thought it right that we go to that particular press briefing.